return, its ROI on mobile investment relative to its costs. What yung ginagawa ng kalaban natin when it comes to mobile? How is company data protected on mobile devices? Does the company consider how employees can use unauthorized devices to gain access? For analytics and big data, does the company take advantage of the data it collects? How does understand how data analytics are or could be used? Evaluate if the company's current use of data analytics is measured and monitored, resulting to an appropriate ROI. They are expensive. These new technologies are a bit expensive, so you have to have, the board will always think of the value in terms of this. When we propose a cloud, the use of cloud for our organization. Do we have an overall cloud strategy? What we need to ask management about the current private cloud. Is it a public or private cloud? Do we own it, or do we need, or should we just outsource our cloud provider? Discuss security and privacy risks associated with using the cloud, whether we use third-party vendors or that have appropriate data security. Social media. Social media has increasingly become an important tool for companies and for their customers and employees. Directors or should be aware of both the rewards and risks, including how employees use and are trained on social media, as well as how quickly negative information can be shared and impacts the company. If social media is relevant to the company, boards should take an interest in how the company uses it to engage customers, develop markets, and recruit talent. Blockchain. How does part of your governance requirement is looking into how does the company evaluate the type of blockchain to use? Is it permissionless or permission, public or private, etc.? Or do we make or buy decision for blockchain? Okay. For artificial intelligence, some of your governance requirements is how mature is our use of big data analytics. So take note that artificial intelligence also uses data. How pervasive is our use? Are we not using big data analytics at all? How developed is our company's fusion of voice and or natural language interface with our software applications, especially for customer care? How proactive is our intelligence gathering and analysis of our traditional competitors and suppliers, as well as non-traditional disruptors using artificial intelligence? Your building blocks to implement AI, your business applications. What are you using analytics for? Identification and prioritization of the core business use cases. Do you have access to the right data? Do you have the right systems and tools? Do you have the right skills for your people and structure for artificial intelligence? Are your business processes optimal? And how can you build a data-driven culture? We talk about Blockbuster kanina, actually Netflix is a good example of artificial intelligence. It actually takes a record of your preferences. It recommends films depending on your historical preferences. But do you know that in 2000, that in year 2000, Netflix actually approached Blockbuster with an offer to sell their company for $50 million. The CEO of Blockbuster was not interested in the offer because he thought that Netflix was just was a very small niche business na siya. No? Hindi siya pang malakihan compared to Blockbuster. And of course, it was, in 2000, it was losing money to Netflix. No? But as of July 2017, no, when Blockbuster was already gone, no, Netflix had 103 million subscribers worldwide and a revenue of $8.8 billion. So that's what the case of Netflix. No? So sayang, no? Kung kinagat ito ni Blockbuster. No? So malapit na akong closing. Steps to IT governance. No? You set define objectives, you set clear objectives and specify the desired outcomes expected based on your business needs. No? You integrate IT governance. It should never be a standalone program. It must be positioned and approached as an integral component of your entire governance program. No? Define the deliverables, no, associated with these goals. You determine the risks. Determine your tolerance for risks, no, and your tolerance should be defined by the board and senior executives, no? And this tolerance often changes. So dapat not just over time but also by project, no? So set up and execute, which is number 5, means defining and adopting a governance framework. Specify who will make decisions and who will approve them. No? Number 6, ask pointed questions, no? Such as how do we currently perform and how should we perform. No? You have to assess, no, current situations, no, on governance. No? Number 7, you have to use information gathered, no, on these assessments. Or number 6, no, on the needs and capability gaps to identify improvement plans, no, and opportunities. Okay. Number 8, expect the program to evolve and improve, no, adopt best practices. No? Number 9, no, you have to set metrics aligned with the original goals and provide top management with scorecards, no, and tailored, easy-to-read reports. Of course, and number 10, no, as the business and IT strategy evolves, no, so should your IT governance program. No? So if the enterprise vision and mission change, no, the IT governance should also follow. No, may need also to adapt. Okay. Conclusion: no, they have to embrace IT like any other significant part of doing business. The boards and management, both in the business and IT functions, must collaborate and work together. No? You have to have oversight points for your IT. No? Determine how critical IT is to the company in the current state of its infrastructure. You have to agree on the board's IT oversight approach. No? You have to prioritize, no? Identify the IT subjects, no? Most relevant, no, to the company and prioritize. No? Your strategy, no, should have, you should bake IT initiatives into strategy oversight. No? So dapat si oversight as a part of your strategy. You have to also bake risk, no, into your IT, no, or bake IT into risk management oversight. So pati si risk management also has the visibility on the IT risks. No? And of course, eventually you have to monitor, you have to adopt a continuous process and measure the results. Okay. In closing, this came from Nestor Espinilla, the former chairman of the BSP. He said the board is ultimately responsible for compliance that adheres to good corporate governance. Okay, so in behalf of maraming salamat po sa lahat, and now we are now open to questions.
All right, there we have it for the information technology governance. Thank you very much, Engineer Carmelo R. Alcala, for such detailed presentation. And I could say that our participants have been engaged Right now, we already have 3 questions. We will only be accommodating 3 questions due to time constraints. All right. So the first question po that we had, we are aware that IT has a very important roles in every big company. Please give us example how a company can handle a cybersecurity threats. Can every employee share the same task for malware security?
Um, Actually, cybersecurity, no, there's no substitute for security training. No? And this security training, hindi yan during onboarding lang, no? Nung hinire mo lang employee. Information security training is done continuously every year. No? And of course, it can also be strategized. No? Si training, no, can also be strategized based on the level of data, no? The confidentiality of data, no? Or the na hinahandle ng isang employee. No? Can it So cybersecurity threats can also be part of your disaster recovery planning. No? It can be part of your procedures, policies and procedures. No? So for example, in companies where I previously worked, we have a server emergency shutdown procedure, for example. No? So hindi mo talaga pinapatay, di ba, yung server, no, sa data center, no? But if in cases of cyber hacks, no, and the IT has determined that they're about to be infiltrated, no, and there's no option but to shut down, no, emergency shutdown of a server, no, then you should have the procedure for that. No? So that's part of procedures is one. No? Part of your, of course, audit, no, can also be your business continuity planning, yung practice, no, yung rehearsals niyo for disaster recovery and business continuity should also include cyber security threats. No? And of course, no, it's also important, no, that employees, no, are trained, no, on malware security, no, on including how to detect malware, no, and how to address, no, significant malware. No, in some of in my experience, of a scenario where a malware has infiltrated their workstation, what will you do? And we've rated them, and that part of it becomes part of their KPIs. No? In some organizations where I work, no, yung annual information security training, no, may exam kasi yan, may test yan, no, is part of the KPI for the for KPI for the employee. Ang mas matindi nun, even the management, no, including executives, no, meron silang part of their KPI is that pag merong hindi pumasa na employee, no, mas malaki ang deduction sa kanilang incentive. No? And that company is actually parang it took it upon themselves, no, upon the employees to make sure that they undergo the training, annual training. They make sure that the training is they pass it, no, and they do it annually, no, they do it annually. Okay, so marami kang pwedeng gawin.
Here we have it. Thank you so much po. We have another question po from the participants. He would like to ask your recommendation on the best practices of digital approval process for official document like contracts or more in accordance with ISO standards and Philippine laws. Do you use digital signature or electronic signature on the printout of the document after approval? This implementation would optimize the approval process without having a courier send legal papers for signatures. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, but I think, no, there is still no law, no, dito sa atin, no, sa Philippines, that would accept, no, yung electronic signature, yung legally, yung legal that legal recognition of the digital signature. Of course, we have Adobe, we have may marami yan silang mga document approval system, no. And so sana pagkaroon na ng law, no, recognition, and yes, no, it will really facilitate, no, the efficient process of not physically handling legal papers, no, pasa from one office to another, no. Hindi dapat mangyari yun, no. We already live in a digital world, no? So yeah, I agree with you, no, na dapat meron na talaga tayong digital signature. I think it's about to be approved, no, yung digital signature law, no.
Thank you, sir. Right. Well, and for the last question po, no, for this one, based on your experience, what are the best practices that you can share in case the management doesn't support digital transformation initiatives that is being proposed?
That is proposed. Yeah, we really can't do anything if we actually recognize that the board, no, so the board has actually has a bigger perspective than us, no, than us tayo. So mas malaki yung nakikita, mas malawak yung nakikita nila. And so if they don't approve, no, then we really can't do anything. No? Sila din mag-approve ng budget mo, eh, no? But yeah, I think it's we've done our best of selling, no, the digital DX initiative, no. We've covered the risk, no. If after all these things you've done, no, you went to the market and look at the most appropriate solution, no, and yet at the end of the day, hindi nila in-approve, no. Yeah, you'll have to suffer the consequences of not being in a digital, of not going into a digital transformation process.
Right, sir. Thank you so much po. That ends the list of the questions for this session po. So with that one po, we're going to proceed to the awarding of plaque together with ISAP Manila Governor, Engineer Kenneth M. Tupino.
Mr. Hendrickson again, thank you to Engineer Carmelo Alcala for gracing our EAGM. And it's my pleasure to award the Institute of Electronics Engineers of the Philippines Incorporated awards this plaque of appreciation to Engineer Carmelo R. Alcala in grateful recognition of his expertise, professional competence, and invaluable service rendered as resource speaker during the 71st Annual General Membership Meeting and Convention, with the theme Embracing Digital Transformation in the Time of New Normal. Given this 30th of November 2021, signed Dr. Loreliza D. Bolayog, PECE, EAGM 2021 Convention Chairman and the Secretary General, and of course, Dr. Michelle D. Lawas, PECE, our National President. Again, thank you, Engineer Carmelo Alcala.
Thank you. Thank you.
There we have it, sir. ISAP Incorporated is really thankful for having you here po. No? So we hope that in the near future, we could still see Engineer Carmelo R. Alcala in ISAP.
Sure. My pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you so much po. No? And for some announcement, right? So the for the voting of aspiring board of director BOD 2022, they are already posted on the dashboard of myisap.net when you log on. Right? So again, you could already see the candidates on the dashboard when you log on to myisap.net. Okay, you can check their platforms already, but the voting will start at December 2 at 12 noon and will close at December 4 at 12 noon. Again, the voting will only start on December 2 at 12 noon and will close at December 4, 12 noon. Okay, you can see the candidates on the dashboard of myisap.net. Net. All right, so just to repeat this announcement, the attendance and quiz evaluation forms for all technical sessions will be open until December 3 at 11:59 p.m. We will send you the links later tonight to your email, or you may message us on ISEP National Facebook page. All right, so at this point of time, let us all have a quick sneak peek for tomorrow's event. All right, so tomorrow, December 1, 5 to 9 p.m., we will be having Engineer Mark Anthony V. Melendres for the designing the network security as integral part of the enterprise network. And also, Engineer Paulo R. Lalaguna for the physical security system designed beyond the pandemic. All right. And this will all happen tomorrow at 5 to 9 p.m. and will be hosted by Victor P. Iraniela. City. We would like to thank all of the participants for staying with us up until this time. We know that in the live events, technical difficulties is really unavoidable. So thank you for those who understand. All right. And again, this event has been made possible because of the following sponsors: Advantech Corporated Malaysia and AMTI, AWS Distribution Philippines Corporated, Wireless Link Technologies, United Electrical Specialists Incorporated, Siemens Energy, Allied Telesis, Panasonic Business, Infinite Care Technology Solutions Incorporated, Excel First Review and Training Center, PT Serna Corporation, and STEAG State Power. All right. Salute and commendation for the hard work and dedication of our organizing and working committee of the EAGM 2.0 Working Committee, the technical team, the post-event completion task committee, the program coordinators, our moderator, Wei and Mins, the correspondence team, the committee on awards and recognition materials, the committee on souvenir program, our graphics team, and the promotions and marketing committee with the assistance of ISEP, National Publications Committee. Maraming salamat po for working as one team. We would also like to especially mention the dynamism and attentiveness of our secretariat. Thank you very much for tirelessly working behind the scenes and ensuring the smooth facilitation of the event. Also, to our participants, again, thank you very much. Even though you are still busy, you are here with us. That concludes our day 4 of EAGM 2.0. Don't forget that the email will be sent to you later tonight. Thank you very much. Mabuhay ka, ISEP. This has been Hendrix, your moderator, signing off.